Hi, hello, moin moin, and welcome to Linguistic Stitches. My name is Lisa, my pronouns are she, her, and you are watching a Flosstube, which is a YouTube video about cross stitch. I have a very long Flosstube for you today, I fear. I have so much to show you. It's only been a month, and the month is not even completely over. Today is March 29th, 2026. But I have so much to show you that I did not want to wait for till next weekend, basically. So I have FFOs, I have finishes, I have starts, I have whips, I have cells. I do have haul for you, and that is, and I do have show and tell. I don't usually show you that much haul, but today I thought it was, first of all, fun. Second of all, relevant to what's going on this channel. And remember how I told you in my last Flosstube episode how I was not going to start a collection? I was not going to start a collection. Well, it turns out I lied. I did not. Basically, immediately, not only did I go on the internet, basically immediately after publishing the video, to buy several more vintage cross-stitch calendars, which I'm going to show you in a bit. But I also may have started one or two other collections, because I've fallen down several rabbit holes this month and I'm going to tell you about them. They're all stitching related, I swear. And then, like I said, at the end I do have some show and tell, which is Easter related, but also craft related. So stay tuned. As always, I am going to start with the pieces I do have monthly or weekly goals on. Right. The first one up is Menagerie by Kathleen Taylor. And every month I try to finish one motif here. This is my commute piece. I stitch on this mainly when I'm on a train. So for April, I started and finished this motif, the swan, and some of the doodads surrounding it, which fits in really nicely with the Swanessence Swanessence stitch along by Stitchery. That's a mouthful, sorry. So where we are stitching on swans. So one swan down. That's great. It was very easy stitch. I like this so much, and I am now halfway done. 6 out of 12. Let's see how well I'm going to be able to keep up with this over the summer months. So that was one. The second one is Quinto Acuto from Long Dog Samplers. Oh, I did not tell you what I'm stitching Menagerie. So Menagerie, I am stitching 1/1 with anchor 23. It is, I think. Yeah. And I'm stitching this on a 20 count Ada in the color Marbled Hazelnut by Extra Designs. So let me put that away really quick. So second up, Quinto Acuto from Long Dog Samplers, and I'm stitching this also 1/1 on 20 count Ada, but this is plain white Ada from Zweigart. And I am using the color conversion from Amity from Boomerang Stitches, which includes, I think, 42 different colors. The main color is DMC 3799, and the rest is a color gradient made up of Cosmo flosses. So, enough talking, more showing. This is how far I've gotten. I have managed to get to the right-hand side of the pattern. So, this is the full length of Quinto Acuto. Since I last saw you, well, obviously I was able to take the 37.99 all the way up to the right-hand side. Maybe I don't think I'm going to trim that. And I put in, I think 3 more of these little motifs at the top, or maybe 2. 2. I think the rabbit and the kissing dogs. And I think I put in 2 more of the medallions here. The lion and the deer with this bird friend. Right now I'm stitching on this basically 1 night a week to get to approximately 500 stitches. That's the goal, but if I get to like 400 stitches, I'm then going to put in another night or whatever. Right now I am concentrating on putting in the colorful motifs, because I do like to take this with me when I'm commuting for work. And I don't like taking the 42 colors with me. I like to only take $37.99 to do the outlines and stuff. And so now I'm playing catch up with the colorful motifs. So this is a lot of fun. I am chugging along very well on this. I think I'm definitely over 10% now. This was my New Year, New Start. So that's going great. Yeah. So that's the second one. Oh yeah. Then another one that I have a monthly goal for is my Menagerie spot sampler. And the idea is that, you know, we all have so many patterns where we only really like one motif, where basically we bought it just for this little motif here, and we don't need to stitch the whole sampler or the whole shebang, right? And that is what I'm doing. I'm taking little animal motifs from bigger pieces and I'm stitching them on one spot sampler. I had planned on stitching a bug and adding a bug. I did not do that. Instead, this time I added this little Scandinavian chick. I chose my own colors. So this is stitched mostly 2/2 on 36 count marbled hazelnut linen by X2 Designs. Let me show you the chick up close. This is stitched in blue and red, like an orange red, I think. And this is from this great book I bought. I'm going to tell you later why I bought this. I didn't buy it for the chick. From this great book. This is a French book on Scandinavian cross stitch. Why not? My French isn't that great. I took 4 years of French in school, but it's been a while. It's been longer than I care to admit. 20 years. It's been 20 years since my last French class, but French is good enough to read what is interesting here for me. Right, okay, so yeah, I took this from this great pattern book, which I'm going to tell you a little bit more about later. Yeah. It is kind of a coincidence, but kind of not, that all the motifs that are in here right now are birds. I had thought about doing like in spot aviary or what have you, but I do want to put in other animals, and they're going to show up eventually. I promise. I just haven't gotten around to doing that. It's just some bird always catches my eye. You know how it is. All right. And then my last piece that I have monthly goals for is my no, it's not my only, but is my full coverage piece, and that is Mini Orion Nebula by Heaven and Earth Designs. And my goal here is to put in 1,500 stitches a month, and I did that. I worked in this lower part, and I actually was able to finish page 9. The first partial page on the bottom row is done now. Whew, that's great. Yeah, so a lot of confetti, and I think right here I find the contrast very stark when I like run my fingers over it. I can tell that here there's been a lot of confetti. It's thick, and here there's mainly like 1, 2, or 3 colors in it. Yeah, but it's come along great. I'm still on track to finish it this year, which is one of my big goals for 2026. Yeah, this was also one of my WhipGo calls. WhipGo is a game by Jessie Marie Dustaff. WhipGo is a game by Jessie from Jessie Marie Dustaff, where you have like a bingo board. You assign whips or different things to the numbers, and every month she pulls 2 random numbers, and then you work however you want on those pieces. For me, that's 5 days a month. Worked out great for me because I'm not doubling up my assignments. Like I did the 1,500 stitches in these 5 days. I don't add them up. So that was one of them, and the other one was Bushland Quaker by Mojo Stitches. And like I told you I was hoping in the last video, I finished it. And I actually FFO'd it. It's not that great, don't look too closely, but I immediately put it in a frame and there we go. That is a frame I had bought for something or other for my frame stash some time ago, and I think it works out nearly perfectly. Like it's snug at the edges and like there is some space here at the top and bottom, but with the dimensions of this piece, that's all I can get without doing a custom frame. And I'm very happy with that. This is a very dark brown, maybe black, and the white matte. It's fantastic. I stitched this 1/1 on 25 count Lugana in the color dark beige or dunkel beige. In German, I don't know if the name in English is the same, by Zweigart. And I used a variety of variegated threads and a few DMCs, whatever I had in stash. It was like a stash buster, basically. Yeah, and it's so beautiful. It was very finicky, a lot of color changes, but it was totally worth it. This chart was, I had won this chart in a giveaway from Jacinta of Crafting on the Plains. Check her out. She has a great channel. Yeah, and now I have this great FFO that I'm not sure when or where I'm going to put this on the wall, but it was very important to me to immediately get this into a frame and to not put it away with all my other unframed finishes. Yeah, I just shoved it in here. It's done. I'm very happy with it. Even with all the color changes, the stitching was very enjoyable. It flowed very nicely. Yeah, that was my other Whipgo call. I only had to work on it for 2 days out of 5 because it was finished then. So what can you do? What can you do? Next up. I am participating this year in a year-long stitch-along by Victoria from JedXStitch. We are stitching our way through the alphabet with the hashtag 2020stitch, and we are basically concentrating on a letter on the alphabet for 2 weeks in a row, and then switching every other Friday. And that's right. For March, the relevant letters were F and G, and for F, I had chosen fine frog stitching, and this is a start and finish. There was a Patreon pattern from February. This is Deep Sea Duet. Oh, with the light you can't really see that very well, but this is a beautiful pattern. I love the colors. I love the glowing effect this has. It's fantastic. I stitched this 2/1 on 18 count Ada. I'm actually not quite sure right at this moment who the manufacturer is. I am pretty sure this is a one-of-a-kind. Yeah, this was a one-of-a-kind Ada that was on sale at Lady Revenga. German dyer, and I used all the called for DMC threads. Beautiful. Put it immediately in a hoop, made my own hoop butt out of a pizza carton, like out of cardboard from pizza box. Yeah, which means that I can relace this anytime. Well, I didn't even lace it, but this isn't necessarily, it's forever home, but like with Bushland Quaker, I immediately wanted to put it, to FFO it and to just put it up, and now it lives on my fridge. On one of these magnet things. All right, so that is finish number 2, FFO number 2. That's all the FFOs I have for you today, but I do have some more finishes. Then for the 27th of March. Yeah, that was last Friday. The letter was G. And I am using, well, for every letter I pick a designer that starts with the letter, right? So for G, I chose Gera or Kyoko Maruoka, but Gera is her designer name. And I chose the Swans pattern. I started this on Saturday, not on Friday, but I did start it. I got a good chunk done here on the left. And next up are, well, I'm going to be putting in the sea roses here, and then the mama swan and all the swanlings, the swan chicks, the baby swans. I have already in the past stitched the ducks pattern, and I loved it. It looks so great on the call for fabric. And that's why for this, I'm also using the call for fabric. This is 32 count blue spruce, Belfast by Zweigart, and I'm using all the called for DMCs. Only, I think I'm using Anchor 403 for the black, but the rest is all called for. Yeah. And you might pick up on the fact that I keep telling you that I don't know what the English color names are for some of the Zweigart patterns, Zweigart fabrics, and this is a good example of that. In English, the name is blue spruce, and in German it's Stahlblau, which translates to steel blue. So, you know, that's why I keep telling you I am not sure about the English translation of the fabric name. But I found it, not a problem, and it will look fantastic. Like the white is going to really pop on here. And my plan is to finish this in like the coming weeks. Yeah, it is my plan. Let's put it like, I'm going to tell you about plans a bit later. I have stitched on other 2020 stitch pieces as well last month, and I was actually able to finish one of them. And that is a very fishy Valentine. It's so weird. A very fishy Valentine by these 20 stitches. This was part of a Valentine's Day charity bundle from last year, and Dee has recently released this. I cropped this a bit, the pattern a bit, right here at the bottom. In the there was, I don't know what I'm doing. Originally the pattern went down to about here, and in the waves there was like a white font that said "What a catch," but I decided I wanted it just with only the fish. That's the main thing for me. Yeah, I have to admit I did not put in the French knot. I just could not be arsed. Yeah, I think it looks great either way, and I will have to look for a frame with it has a weird dimension right now. Maybe I can do a flat fold. I've never in my life done a flat fold, but it would be a very fun piece to do like a stand-up flat fold. Maybe that's something I can learn in April. Probably not, if I'm being honest. All right, so there was a very fishy Valentine. I stitched this mostly 2/1 on 18 count Ada. That is one of a kind by Lady Revenga, and I used the called for DMCs. Oh, one detail that I love that is hard to see from far away, you can kind of see that, is that in the body of the fish, the pink, it's not plain pink. There is a subtle pattern in here with hearts in the red. And Dee has said that they basically do that with all their patterns, or with a lot of their patterns, that it's not just one color fill in the body of the animals or the motifs they do. I really appreciate that. Like, it is a bit of a pain to stitch it, right? It would be way easier to just fill in the whole thing, but it is fun. It looks cool. It's a subtle, fun detail. Alrighty. Yeah, I also stitched on my E piece, the last pattern that I started in February for 2020 Stitch was Anna Funk by Erica Michaels. and I have stitched on this for 1 day. I think I told you it was my plan to bring the stitching all the way to the right border. The left-hand border, the left top. I did that. I put in all these flower pots, and I'm very happy. I think I put in like 2 more letters or whatever. Yeah, I'm very happy with how it's turning out. I like it. It is my only like traditional reproduction sampler, and yeah, I enjoy stitching on that. And I think I'm going to be putting in more stitches in April. Not sure. Yeah, probably. More about that later. It is fun and it's going so quickly. I think I worked on this for 3 days total. Yeah, it's great. So that was all of my stitching for 2020 Stitch. Then I am participating in the Data Portraits in Paris Part 2 Stitch Along from Shaded Stitchery, which is a weekly stitch along that's running from February to June, I think, where Nuri from Shaded Stitchery is reinterpreting charts by W.E.B. Du Bois that Du Bois and his workshop made up for the 1900 World's Fair in Paris that depict the lives of Black people in America and specifically Georgia. So I have already finished part 1. It's also on this fabric. Should have unfolded it while talking, I guess. So this is part 1. I stitched this last year and I loved it. I am a scientist and I do work with quantitative data and with visualizations of data, and I really like the creative and fun and thoughtful ways Nuri visualizes these really interesting numbers and charts. So since I saw you last, I put in 3 more parts. I'm not sure where, to be honest. This here, I stitched this and then the colorful bars left and right to this, and this here. Yeah. I'm sorry, I can't really think off the top of my head what this depicts. I think this was like household items in Black Georgian households, something like that. And this was jobs that Black Georgians were holding at the time of the survey. Yeah, this as well. Yeah, I am behind. I have not stitched this week's drop yet. You're going to see why in a bit. Yeah, that's going here. Yeah, I think I'm going to do that to catch up on Monday or maybe later today when the next part drops. So, yeah. I do have 1 more whip, well, or maybe 2 more whips. I have stitched a bit on Cicada Season by Boomerang Stitches, which is this humongous cicada. This was part of the Spellbound Stitches bookmarks charity bundle from this year. And I think Amity just released this for a Nashville Needlework Market. This is huge. I don't like stitching on plastic canvas, but I am determined to get this cicada done and up. That's why I'm trying to do a bit of a strand a day thing with this cicada. This way I finished the left side of the wings and started here, and I filled in a lot of the kind of brown up in here. Yeah, so it's not my favorite to stitch, but I want the finished product. I'm stitching this 2/1 on this mystery plastic canvas that I picked up at the freebie table at JedXStitch Basel last year, and I'm using mostly the called for colors, and if I don't have them, I'm using the anchor substitutes. This is charted in DMC. And I just, it just occurred to me that I did not tell you the specifics about Daily Portraits in Paris Part 2. That is stitched 1/1 on a mystery even weave. I don't know the count, I don't know the name of the fabric, but it is produced by Spitzengilde, by the German lace guild, basically. Yeah. I'm also using this plastic canvas to stitch motifs from another pattern that is Two Best Friends by Tremble Hands. There was a Fiber Besties sale by Krista from Cloverhub Stitching with this, and I decided to stitch the individual water motifs here on the rest of the plastic canvas and to make them into magnets. It was kind of my plan. I had toyed with the idea of stitching them as table gifts for a retreat I'm going to in April, but I'm not doing that. I don't know how big the tables are. I'm not stitching 10 or 12 of these magnets to bring and to gift when I don't know how many people are coming. I'm going to think of something different. I had planned on adding 2 of these in March. I just added the socks. I like them, they're fun. And for some reason, it is way more fun for me to do these little motifs here on the right hand side than to put in the stitches on the left hand side. I'm not sure why. It should be the other way around, because what is annoying to me is like you can't really grip the canvas like you would fabric when you're stitching on the right hand side, you know what I mean? But I'm gonna get through this. This is fine. Everything's fine. So that was my last whip, but I do have some more finishes to show you actually. This month I have not only participated in the Swans sale by Stitchery, which Swans by Gera also works for that, and which conveniently also works with the birthday stitch along from Melanie, from Uplift Stitches, who was doing a birthday sale for March. So since all swans are birds, I'm very, the stuff worked very well for that. And I was also participating in another birthday stitch along by Marissa from MKSA Creations. She was doing a collector's sale where you're stitching on a collection you have going. And I decided to work on bugs. I did not stitch on as many bugs as I had hoped and thought and planned, but I did stitch on this little cutie. I hope you can see it. The colors really wash out. Maybe I should have picked a different fabric for this. This is Early Eyelash Beetle by Bad Stitch. This was a Patreon pattern, but is going to be released sometime this year as part of a bug booklet. Because she has done a fantastic series of little bugs for her Patreon in the last few months. So this is so fun. I really, really love the eyelashes here. This is so cute, and the little star motifs here, and the colors are just fantastic. I stitched this 1/1 on 25 count Lugana in the color Hellgrau, which translates to light gray by Zweigart, with the call for DMCs. This was a delight. Like everything Amanda does, it was a delight to stitch. So that was, I think it was, could it be? This was the only bug I stitched on? Let me check. No, Cicada season, of course, also kind of a bug. Did I put a bug on Menagerie Spot? No, I did not put one on Menagerie Spot Simpler, but maybe there's one on Menagerie. There's so much stuff going on there. You never know. Let me check. No, not a bug this time, but a lizard. Yeah, no bugs here. Maybe I have to remedy this. I think I'm going to have to find another bug to stitch on in the next few days, which should not be hard. Shouldn't be hard. All right, then I am part of a German Discord server for Stitchy group, and we are doing, not we, Julia, who also has a Flosstube channel. She's Bibliophilia, I think I'm going to put her channel below and put it somewhere here. Check her out. She's great. She has initiated like a monthly stitch along yearly stitch along where every month we focus on a different designer. This is the first time I actually managed to participate. The designer for March was Needlelot Designs, who I adore, and I started and finished a pattern that I have had in my stash for quite some time. Bought it on sale. Needlelot Designs she frequently has sales, and you should get her patterns even if they're not on sale. They're adorable. Enough talking, more showing. I chose Rainy Days, and isn't this just the cutest thing you've ever seen? I stitched this 1/1 on 20 count My Little Dove Ada from Extra Designs with the call for DMCs. This was very fun to do. The colors are very mouse-like. I thought to myself while stitching, like, yeah, this is a mouse brown, this is a mouse gray. Yeah. And look at this little mushroom. So cute. What was a little bit of a pain to stitch was all these raindrops that you can't really see with the light situation here, because they are made up of two different colors, the light blue and the white. And I had decided basically immediately that I was not going to stop and start threads for every one of those raindrops. So I carried my threads all over. But since these are light colors and the fabric is quite dense, you can't see that from the front. Yeah, I am in love with him. He is going to move in. I just have to figure out how to frame it. I think I will be putting him in just a picture frame. I think he has the right dimensions. So, and then I have a final finish to show you, which is what has derailed my stitching plans for the last week, or maybe the last 10 days actually. I had way more plans, but you know how it goes. But I was scrolling Instagram and I saw a few people starting or making great progress on Blueberry J by JedXStitch. And I was thinking to myself, I was getting jealous. So I got to be in my bonnet and I wanted to finish it, basically. I was like, if I just put in like a week of stitching, I could finish it. And that's what I did, actually. Let me put it on. The book isn't big enough. The book is not big enough. Doesn't matter. We're gonna try anyway. So, no, I didn't iron it. This is Blueberry J. Isn't it fantastic? What can I say that hasn't been said about Blueberry J or Jessica from JedXStitch? The composition is fantastic. The colors are magical. The shading is fantastic. The bird is superb. Yeah, what can I say? It's great. I love it so much. I was stitching on this late Friday night, I think, to finish it. After an exhausting week at work, and I finished it all, celebrated prematurely. When I was getting this out Saturday morning to get some more pics, I figured out that I had forgotten about the road stitches, so I put them in yesterday. Yeah, it is a fantastic pattern. I loved every bit of it, and I was very motivated to get this finished before Jessica releases her new patterns, her like market releases. She didn't go to market, but she released some great new designs right around Nashville Needlework Market, and the PDFs for those are going to be released on April 8th. So I wanted to get ahead of that, and with my 2020 Stitch game, J is going to be called in early May. So I had originally planned on maybe putting something from Jeanette Douglas in there. I have vintage animals lying around somewhere, which I adore. but I really want to do her new bug, want to do JedXStitch's new bug design, which is called Trellis Forest or something like that. So maybe I'm going to be starting that in May, if I can hold of starting it in April. We're going to see about that. So yeah, those were all my finishes and all my whips, all my starts. It has been a very busy month here stitching wise. I got so much done, and this was very unusually productive for me. There's a few reasons for that. I had a week of work in there. That helped a lot. Like, I was basically, the only thing I did was eat, sleep, and stitch. And then also I am commuting for work in a way that means that I'm usually, that at the beginning of the year I was away for several days a week, like 3 days a week, and over the weekend, over part of the weekend, so I did not get that much stitching done then. I'm not doing that now, so I'm getting my stitching done now. That's going to change in April though, because spring break is nearly over now. That is as good a segue as we can get for talking about plants, I guess. So, plants. The new WhipGo numbers have been called. We have 3 WhipGo numbers for April, which are 6, 14, and 13. Whenever 13 is called, Jessie just pulls a 3rd number. That is what happened here. These calls work out quite well with what I had planned anyway. 14 is Mini Orion Nebula, so I'm going to be putting in 5 days on that. No, it's not Mini Orion Nebula, I'm sorry, it's Quinto Acuto. So that works out well. The other WhipGo call is Anna Funk, which I have showed you before. Let me show you again. Maybe. Yeah. There we go. And I'm going to be putting in 5 more days on this, which is going to be a delight. Yeah. And then for 13, I had thought to myself this year that I was going to put in like a freebie field for me to work on a freebie. I do not have any freebies going right now. Have I told you that before when I was talking about my current WhipGo pieces? Don't matter, you're going to sit through that again, I'm sorry. Yeah, I'm not quite sure yet. I'll have to wait and see. Maybe I'm going to start a freebie from Nashville Needlework Market, because I have gotten, that's my only Nashville haul. I got the floss pack for the Beneath the Waves pattern series, which was a collaboration by 20 plus designers, where they use these 4 colors of cottage garden threads to design a piece on the topic of Beneath the Waves. And these are all smalls. They're max like 65 by 65, I think. And I have seen some fantastic freebies for that. So maybe I'm going to do that. Yeah. These are the WhipGo plans. Yeah, I'm going to be putting in 1500 more stitches on Mini Orion Nebula. I'm going to be putting in 1 more Menagerie beast. Yeah, which brings me to a bit of like life plans, maybe. Oh god, that sounds so weird. So, because right now I'm on spring break, but in 2 weeks the summer semester is going to start and I'm going to be commuting again, and this time in a bit of a different pattern. I'm going to be awake during the work week and I'm going to be here on the weekends, except on in April there is a stretch of like more than 2 weeks that I'm going to be away, like without coming back home. So I'm going to have to plan for that in my commute home in a different town. I don't have my usual stitches set up, so I have to plan for working around that. I don't stitch from my tablet and with markup RXP when I'm away, so I'm gonna have to figure something out. But I think that means that Quinto Acuto is going to get some days. I usually stitch on that when I'm away, because with just the 37.99, that's easy to put in. Maybe also Anna Funk, because while the page breaks are not my favorite, they go right through motifs. The chart also very helpfully has some extra charts for most of the smaller motifs, especially those that are on a page break. So you can take them out and stitch from those. Also, I have the paper chart, so that helps. Yeah, going to be stitching on Menagerie, because that is, like I said, usually my piece for train stitching, and I'm going to be doing a lot of train stitching. Not as much back and forth, but when I'm going away for the weekends and going back to my commute home, there's going to be a lot of commuting going on. Also, in 3 or 4 weeks, I am going to a cross-stitch retreat in Arnhem in the Netherlands. So I'm going to have to plan for that. Yeah, so I have 2 weeks to plan what stitching to bring. I have already thought about that, made plans, made new plans, tried not making plans, because I mean, it's 2 weeks away, right? I don't need to have a perfect plan on what to stitch when right now. But I do have to plan a little bit ahead. I don't know what the light situation is going to be, what the plug situation is going to be. Sorry, I was just thinking if the Dutch electrical plugs are the same as the German ones. I think so. Yeah, so I'm going to have to be thinking through that, through the commute stitching, the train stitching, and somehow trying to get my goals done. We'll see about that. Starts. I do have some starts planned. Like I said, the 2 from 2020 Stitch, which is going to be one of the patterns by Hannah Stitching. Probably Darwin sampler. I have not picked out fabric or floss for that yet. And then ink circles, probably Smoll Birbs, which I bought on sale last month. And I want to do this colorway. I like the more colorful, more jewel toned one. But I don't think I have the call for colors yet. It's charted in Gloriana Silk, Tudor Floss, and something else. So yeah, I'm going to have to find a DMC conversion or some other floss. Yeah, it's not going to be a problem. So that is a plan. And then I have planned for a while now to stitch Unicorn Garden by Sprouting Lupine for a friend of mine who recently moved, and I offered, right? I offered. I was like, hey, friend, do you want me to stitch something for you? I would love to stitch something for you. How about a unicorn pattern? And we landed on that, and I just never started. So I want to start that sooner rather than later. And I do have a great piece of fabric for that. It's a dark green, 36 count linen from, I think it's also from Lady Revenga. And I think this would land itself very well, the pattern, to be stitched at my commute home. But also it's 36 count, very dark linen. So we're going to have to see about that, but I think I want to start that quite soon. And also, this weekend, while I'm filming this, Amanda from Bad Stitch is doing her annual campaign for Trans Day of Visibility, which is, I think, on March 31st. I don't know about your American holidays, but I'm pretty sure it's like soon. She has released this gorgeous Phoenix pattern with the extra feather pattern to raise funds for Trans Lifeline. I have bought this pattern immediately because I have stitched all of the Bad Stitch Trans Day of Visibility charity patterns in the past. They're all very cute, very fun to stitch, very satisfying. So I am going to probably start that later today. I think I'm going to try and stitch the feather though. Maybe I'll have to figure out if this fits next to the cicada. I think so. Yeah, it should be. It is like 26 stitches wide. This is a load-bearing piece of plastic canvas. I tried buying another piece of plastic canvas for making more magnets because I am kind of in a mood to stitch magnets. Not that I've ever finished one, but I bought supplies for fully finishing stuff as magnets, like self-adhesive felt and some magnets. The magnets were tiny. Please tell me what kinds of magnets you buy usually for making like needle minders or for finishing cross-stitch stuff off as magnets. Preferably stuff that I can get in the EU, right? So, yeah, they were tiny. We're going to have to see about that, but I would really like to do the feather as a bookmark. So, rundown walk to Amanda's charity homepage pattern buying thing link. I'm going to link that down below because the patterns are only available until I think April 1st. You can, for $5 you can get the Phoenix pattern, and I think if you donate $20 for Trans Lifeline to Trans Lifeline, you can get the whole bundle with all the patterns in it, like the current and all the charity patterns from the last few years. I think my favorite was the cuttlefish, but you might have guessed that if you've watched my other videos. I love this little guy. All right, so those are the plans, and then I might have plans from starting vintage Danish cross-stitch calendar patterns with you, if you'd like to. Otherwise, I'm going to stitch them by myself, and I'm going to be so happy and cackling to myself the whole time. Maybe I could start one of those and bring them with me on commute, because I have them as paper charts. All right, so that brings me to collections. So yeah, like I said, oh no, I have some haul I'd like to show you. Like I said, usually I don't show you that much haul, but today I'm in the mood. I got my fabric of the month from Extra Designs. I have switched from the 25 count Lugana to their 36 count linen primitive club. This is beautiful. This is called Khaki Patch. I'm not going to unfold that for you, but yeah, this is great. Extra Designs are going to be a vendor at the cross stitch retreat I'm going to, and that is dangerous. They are so kind, so nice. The fabric is gorgeous. They have this, when I saw them at Stitch Basel, they had this fantastic deal on these like scrap pieces of Ada I showed you. Oh no, that is what the now I remember. That is what Deep Sea Duet was stitched on, I think. I think there was one of the scraps with the Ada scraps from Extra Designs, maybe. Wait, let me check in my book. Because Extra Designs had like a whole suitcase full of these fantastic little scraps, 16 count Ada and 18 count Ada, and they were selling them, swear to God, for 3 pieces for €1, which is absurd. Like, this is obscenely cheap for the great quality you get. Where is it? Yeah. Oh no, it wasn't. I'm sorry. I'm sorry for the confusion. No, it was one of a kinds from Lady Revenga. No, I got confused because I used one of the dark blues that I had bought then. I was gushing about that in my last Flosstube because I stitched the Leafy Sea Dragon from Bad Stitch. I always want to say JedXStitch. What is that about? Maybe because it's like JedXStitch. Bad Stitch. All right, so no, this is a one of a kind from Lady Revenga, and I'm very looking forward to seeing the suitcase of scraps from Extra Designs again. Yeah, I got some charts on sale at Stickteufelchen. So I went there because a friend of mine told me about the sale, and I was looking for Wizard Cat by Lindy Stitches. I did not have immediate plans to stitch this, but I had heard that this is going out of print, so I had to buy it. I don't know when I'm going to stitch this, but this is so cute. I'm going to find an occasion to stitch this. This is also from Lindy Stitches, from her Bird Crush Club, I think. Was it the bird? No. Air Mail series. This is the pattern for June, the silver-throated tanager. I didn't know about your English bird names. This is a cutie, and I had wanted him for a while. And then I also got on sale Honeybee Reverie from Artful Offerings. I have been eyeing Artful Offerings for a while, and I blame the Hathaway stitches for that. Yeah. And also on sale, no, this is maybe not on sale, I don't remember, but I have been buying some of the Plum Street Samplers Animal Trios, and this is a Jump Clump with the little spiders. Yeah, I have not started even one of them. I think I own like 3 or 4 now. I have slowly been buying them whenever I'm getting something from a shop. Yeah, so that was the pattern haul. And now we're getting to book haul. So I have already shown you, what's that? Oh, that's from the library. Shown you this book. This is called Motifs Scandinaves Traditionnels by Valérie Gera. And this is a French book on Scandinavian cross-stitch motifs. Oh, I want to give you some different context before that. Doesn't matter, I'm going to tell you later why I bought this. This is a great book. It tells you a bit about traditional Scandinavian cross-stitching and different motifs. And then they have like, this is one of those books that is basically only charts. They are not that great, not that detailed. It's just a bunch of motifs. And in like, here's different animals, right? And they don't give you colors. They just say traditionally Scandinavian cross stitch is done in dark blue, and if it's if there's 2 colors, the other color is red. So that's where I got the chick from. There's a lot of fun motifs, a lot of animals, crowns, hearts, these stars and squares. I think these squares would lend themselves very well for turning them into little fridge magnets. So that's one book I bought. And then here's what you were waiting for. I bought vintage Danish cross-stitch calendars. I would say I'm sorry, but I'm not. All right, so I got them on. I got some of them on eBay. I got some of them from a Danish antique book online shop, and I got some of them from just a online needlework shop in Denmark. Yeah, and I got them for a good price, most of them. So let's go through them. I have been, or I'm going to film flip-throughs for all of them, like I said, and I'm going to be uploading them one at a time. This I love. This one is 1970, the 1970 calendar, designed by Ruth Christensen, and the topic is the zoo. But like, I've never been to a zoo like that. Wait, let me show you a great one. This is fun. This is the hedgehog. He does not look well. So, I love these fishies. They all have these really fun chunky borders. Yeah. Wait, there is one where I can't. This is so cute. The quails. I think they're quails. I really like this one. I have no idea what the yellow thing is on the back of the horse, but it's a great horse. Yeah. So this is really fun. This is really cute. Like, there's something for everyone in here. The December one is fantastic. Seagull and baby Jesus on their way to save Christmas. Yeah, so This is something for everyone. I am going to be uploading the flip through very soon. This is the 1970 cross-stitch calendar from Handarbeidet Fremme and the Årets calendar. I talk more about these calendars in my flip through of the shoot, I forgot the year. The Birds and Flowers cross-stitch calendar flip through that I did. Another one I talked about back then that I was really looking forward to getting is the 1971 calendar. And this one features cross-stitch motifs and cross-stitch styles from the Danish peninsula. I can never remember if it is like a peninsula or an island. It is kind of part of Copenhagen, but kind of not. Doesn't matter. The region of Amager, where a colony of Dutch settlers had been living for and living, following their own costumes and stuff for 300 years. And this is chock full of these Amager cross-stitch patterns. And in my flip through that I have not uploaded yet, I said that I was not sure about the stitching style, because these, if you look closely, you can see this is not technically cross-stitch. It looks like cross-stitch, but it's a bit more crowded, a bit more knubbelig. And that is because this is not cross-stitch, but it is like a, how did they call it? Long-legged cross-stitch, where you put in a cross-stitch and then the second one has longer legs that overlap with the first cross. So, and in my flip through I said I was not sure why they did that, if that is custom, that is the traditional way, but this is the first rabbit hole I fell down, and I could not find that much on the internet about Amager cross-stitch actually, but apparently this was the way to do it. They traditionally Amager cross-stitch was worked in this long-legged cross-stitch. Oh yeah, and here's a great example for something I also wanted to talk about. This is a peacock, and the defining feature is that, well, first of all, the long-legged cross-stitch, and second of all, that they used all the space they had. They put in big motifs and then filled up all the space they had with smaller motifs, and then the space between the smaller motifs with even smaller motifs, right? And when I did my flip through, I was talking about this one in particular. And it's like, this is weird. Why is there a border on only 3 parts, right? Where's the top border? But this is by design, because this is a pattern for, I don't know how to say that if it pertains to grown-ups, but basically like a bib. Like not for babies, but like the part of the dress that is on your chest, right? So it does not need a border up here because there's the border of your dress. So it's like the chest piece, maybe. And that is why this does not have an upper border. Like, these are all so fun and so cool. Look at this lion. Or better, look at my flip through when I upload it. And I cannot spend too much time on each of the calendars because we're going to be sitting here all day, because I love these calendars and I want to show you everything that is in them. That is why I filmed the flip throughs. This next one is one of my favorites. It had not been on my have to have list, but I had to have it. This is a book of zodiacs, and they are all completely bonkers. Well, most of them are. And this is the calendar from 1968 with designs by Marianne Herlufsdatter and Lars Thyrslund. Oh, I did not tell you about this one. Might be get it back. No. These patterns were designed by Ida Winkler, who designed a lot of the patterns for the cross-stitch calendars over the years. This style is just so funny. Let me show you. I love the Cancer one. This is very tame. I like this. And this would make a great pillow. Also make a great fridge magnet. I'm never going to make any of the fridge magnets I'm telling you about. Oh no. This is Aquarius. Look at it. Look at him. Aquarius. I love lion, the Leo, fantastic. His hair, oh my god, his mane. This is fantastic. I'm sorry, I'm very bad at remembering the Latin English names for the zodiacs. In German we just call it Waage, like the scales. So this is very fun. My favorite is Sagittarius. I don't know if I want to spoil it. It is a bit not safe for work, so I'm not going to spoil it. You'll have to look at have to watch my flip through, but just Sagittarius is really worth it. Like, they saved the best for last, but I'm going to show you. Is that Taurus? I think that one's Taurus. Like, these are all so fun, but also... No, I'm not going to say anything mean, but... Can you imagine being part of the Handcraft Guild of Denmark in 1968 and getting this in the mail? And they're like, yeah, this is our calendar for the year. Have fun stitching these every month. And then you're going to stitch these and hang them up in your home. Very fun. I also have, in the same lot, basically, I bought this calendar from 1982, which consists of a Merklappen, a word I think is quite funny, but apparently it's also only funny if you're from Germany. That is one of the different Danish words for a sampler. And I figured out later that Lappen is also the word for sampler in like basically all the Scandinavian languages and in Dutch also. In German that means rag. So that's very, it just seems very inappropriate to me to call like these traditional samplers rags. But what a fun way in which the Germanic languages differ, right? Yeah, so these are more traditional sampler motifs. Those are not, if I remember correctly, reproductions, but they look like reproductions, right? And they have very cool borders. I talk a lot about the borders in my flip through. And there's Adam and Eve, there's Funky Deer. Look at those fabulous deer. I will be putting them on my Menagerie spot sampler. For sure. Look at this. Like, this is all so fun. These are very cute. Let's have a look at Christmas. There's a lot of flower pots here. Wait, where's Christmas? Here. So this is a very cute Christmas sampler, right? Yule is the Danish word for Christmas. Yeah. So that's 1982. Then those were from like a online shop for antique books, like secondhand books. We call them Antiquariat in Germany, and probably they do that in Denmark as well. That just means they're old secondhand books. And then I found some on this online needle workshop. I think it was called Ingrid Marie or something like that. And I bought 3 calendars. This one because I'd never seen that before, and it looked promising. This is from 1997. And it features butterflies. Yeah, this is designed by Naya Salto. Oh, I did not tell you about the Merklappen. The Merklappen were designed by Ida Winkler as well, like the Ameyer cross stitch. Oh yeah, the Ameyer. I'm going to put that. I want to talk more about the Ameyer. So, the butterflies, they're not as unhinged as I had hoped, but they're very pretty. This is my favorite. Wonderful. Like the others are mostly not as unhinged, more beautiful. This one has Noctiflora vibes because of the eyes, and like the purple is very goth to me. This one's also very fun, very busy. Yeah, they're mostly just very beautiful butterflies. Very cute. This one does not have the spiral binding. Then I also bought, mostly because they had it and it was cheap, the 2000 calendar, which is so far my least favorite, I have to say, but like they can't all be winners. I did not know what I was getting into with that, but it was like cheap, so I got it. This one features patterns designed by Inge-Marie Rinkwell, inspired by the works of, I forget his first name, by a Danish artist named Thorvald Binsbøl, who was an architect and a designer, and he worked with ceramics. And so this this calendar features cross stitches, mostly designed, inspired by his ceramics, right? Like this vase. And but also, like, there is 6 patterns. I think we figured that out with the flip through. It's always one vase design and then one of these, which is like a small centerpiece and then some wild thing going on in the background. And these, I like these small pieces. Those would make great fridge magnets. And now that I see that, for February, very fun fact. And this is a hop flower, and it has been or was on the label for oh shoot, I forgot which one. Must be Carlsberg for a beer company. It must be Carlsberg, right? What other? Let me see. Oh no. Well, you will have to watch my flip through for that. No, I think it was Carlsberg. Yeah. Yeah. So this is fun. Like, they give you, with this one, they don't show you the whole pattern stitched up, but always the upper left quadrant. I don't know what's up with that, but it is very artistic. They show you a lot of ideas and what to do with that. So that's the calendar from 2000, and then the pièce de résistance for the for my second haul. I had feared that the cross-stitch calendars had been getting less weird over time, but this one is superb. I love this so much. This is the 2019 calendar, designed by Marianne Eriksen Scott Hansen. And this is so cool. This has some serious Noctiflora vibes and some serious, like, elder gods you don't want to meet in the woods. And it does not look like that from the cover, right? This is just a stocking with some, like, berries here. No, it is not. It is not, actually. These patterns are so fun, and they are inspired by nature. They're all like a different flower or tree, which I struggle a lot with in my flip through video because I did not recognize all the plants, and I wasn't able to translate all the names in my head to English immediately, which got me a bit frustrated. Like, look at this lily of the valley, right? This is what we're talking about. So they are all inspired by Danish plants, and then Marianne Eriksen Scott Hansen currently is known for her very elaborate, huge paper flower designs. And these are all like, they look like woodcuts, but they are like paper cuts. You know how you cut into paper and make a garland stuff? That is what this is. And what I especially like about this is, look at this, right? This is a villain from a video game, from whimsical video game. They show you how to FFO, or like, they don't show you how to do that, but FFOs of the patterns on like, very, like, a variety of FFOs, like on a bib. You won't put that on a bib, right? It's yellow. But this is so much fun. This is so cool. I love this so much. Here it is on a sweater. That's this one. They show them to you stitch up on linen and also like on a sweater or a bib or a cushion, whatever. And I'm so in love with this book. This is fantastic. Yeah, so I am probably going to start something from one or two or all of my collected pattern calendars sooner rather than later. Yeah, I was going to talk more about the Amaya. So that was rabbit hole number 1. I have one more calendar on the way to me because I found this one. It's hard to get from what I can see, and it was relatively cheap. It wasn't cheap, but it wasn't exorbitantly expensive, which features designs for, like, illustrations for the fairy tales of Hans Christian Andersen, and they are a fever dream. I can't wait for it to get here. So, as I was saying, these are these Armor cross-stitch patterns, and I told you that I was trying to research them and I couldn't figure out anything. So that is why I bought this book, because it was referenced in like in a blog post I saw. And this actually has a few Armor type cross-stitch patterns. So one of the strengths of this book is, that's Armor, is that it tells you usually where the cross-stitch motifs are from, like which country. So right here it says the motifs are Danish. But what I don't like about that is usually, well, there's several patterns and then several motifs, and then it says the origin of the motifs is Danish, Swedish, and Finnish. But like, which ones? Which ones? Look at these. This is going to make a great bookmark. But there is here. This is Armor. They put it as a like explicit origin of motifs, and this is a whole chapter with Armor motifs we can recognize from the calendar. So just going to flash that really quick. We have the peacock here we saw, and the lion, which we also saw. And I think I have from this, I read here in this book that it's the chess pieces. Because yeah, there's another peacock with the 3 borders. That is a chest piece. Yeah. Don't be a weirdo and try to stitch them from what I showed you, please. Several fun, so much fun animals here. Like this one. Fantastic. Right. Get this book. It is still being published and sold. Yeah, so that was my second rabbit hole. I was trying to find out more about Armor cross stitch, and I couldn't. So I thought, well, okay, let's go offline, buy some books. And I tried to get some from my library. I'm going to talk about the library pretty soon. Yeah. Let me tell you, let's pivot, segue into my third rabbit hole, and that is Sorbian cross stitch. So a few weeks ago, I went away for the weekend with a friend of mine to the east of Germany. There is a region of Germany called Spreewald, which is a lovely region. It's like southeast of Berlin in Brandenburg. And we had a lovely weekend there. Spreewald is known to people not from that. Like, all I knew was that they're famous for their pickles. But it's fantastic. And I knew, I hadn't thought about that before, but the Sorbians live there, or in a part of Sorbians live in a part of Spreewald. The Sorbians are a Slavic minority group in Germany. I had not thought about that before, but we were going on the train, and at some point, all the train stops the signage right next stop were starting to be bilingual. And as a linguist, I'm like, and then I realized, that's Sorbian. Yeah. First I was like, it could be Polish because it's near the Polish border, but no, that's Sorbian. And I got so excited because it is like a Slavic minority language, which means that it's not as closely related to German, right? It's more closely related to Polish and Czech and Russian and languages like that. So that's very fun. And that brings me to the show and tell portion. Wow. As a souvenir, I bought this book, Sorbian Embroidery by Lothar Balke. I bought this at a Sorbian museum in Lübbenau, I think. Oh, I'm sorry, I forgot it. But at a museum, and we went there on our way back to look at a Easter market, basically, where a lot of Easter eggs were sold because one of the few things I knew about Sorbians was, first of all, the language, fantastic. Second of all, they have very elaborate traditional costumes with a lot of embroidery. And third, they do fantastic Easter eggs. I'm going to show you some in my show and tell portion. But well, I was like, okay, the embroidery on the traditional costumes is fantastic. I'm going to buy this book on the embroidery as a souvenir. And while it was very interesting, it left me wanting more. Like, there was a lot of talk, like here, that's the traditional costumes with the cross stitching on them. And the author kept going on and on about how unique these are like head pieces. The cross stitch traditions were differing between the villages, but did not go into detail. And also the it's like pulled thread stuff. The most like in the town where we went to on our trip, Burg, and they had these fantastic traditional costumes with really big head pieces that are embroidered all over. It does not feature in this book. So I went down a rabbit hole trying to learn more about Sorbian cross stitch and embroidery, because it's very interesting to me how, oh yeah, that's later. Well, this is more like the general cross stitch in Germany at the time. Talking about the motifs, put that away. Yeah, so I wanted to know more, and I bought this book. This book is the catalog for an exhibition at the Sorbian Museum. Yeah, the Sorbisches Museum in Bautzen and Wendisches Museum in Cottbus. I have not read through this, but this features all types of, this is called Spitze, Samt und Seide, Kostbarkeiten sorbischer Trachten, which translates to basically lace, suede and silk, Sorbian traditional costumes. So yeah, I'm very excited to see what's in here. It's mostly apparently pictures of different traditional costumes. Ooh, that's interesting. All right, so I'm very looking forward to that. This, yeah, was a bit of a problem with our postal service. This got in the mail to me, wrapped in a plastic bag. And I was like, what is going on here? Yeah, the envelope was ripped, and the book slipped out of it during the handling by the postal people, and they wrapped it in like a plastic bag, not like in a plastic bag, but they have these plastic envelopes for if this happens, so that I know something happened to it, which was shitty. But I contacted the people at the museum, and they were fantastic. I bought this directly from the museum, which I recommend, and they sent it to me a second time. So, but when I went on my spree, I thought, well, why not check out the collection of books at my library. I do have a library card for the city's library I live in. They did not have anything on cross stitch or embroidery. I was very weirded out by that. Only like 100 motifs for beginners. And I was like, that's weird. And then I looked at my university's library, and they had a ton. Look at how much I got from my library. Fantastic. I can recommend checking that out. Even if you don't work at a university or don't study at a university, at the German universities I have been a part of, and I've been a part of a few. First of all, usually the library is open to the public. You can just go in and browse, and if they have their books on display, you can like flip through them, copy them, read them. And if they're not on display, which is like a lot of libraries are what we call Magazinbüchereien, so magazine libraries where you have to order the book, and they bring it from the magazine to the library and you can check it out. But even if you're not officially a part of the university, at a lot of universities you can still get the library card. It'll cost you a bit, like $10 a year, but you can still get books from the university library. And this was mostly part of the ethnology and anthropology collection. And I got some gems. Some I was not that into, but I was trying to get like the vibe for I was specifically looking for Armaya cross stitch and Sorbian cross stitch. So I was like, okay, so embroidery traditions for minority groups in Europe. That's what I was going for. I'm like, okay, traditional European embroidery. But I got a lot of different stuff because I stood in front of the books and I just picked them all, picked as much as I could carry. So this is a book on embroidery in contemporary art. I have not looked at this, but it looks very promising. Well, not for Armaya and not for Sorbian cross stitch, but in general. I'm really looking forward to that. It's called Nadelstiche, Sticken in der Kunst der Gegenwart by Mathilda Felix. This one is called Old Hungarian Embroidery. It is by Maria Vaju-Ember. Pretty sure I'm not pronouncing that correct. I don't know any Hungarian. There are a few, so it is a lot about the embroideries, and then at the end there's a lot of pictures. I've not looked at this too closely. This one's fun by Irmgard Gier. This is embroidery in Stickerei in Bauernstuben, embroidery in farmers' living rooms, basically. Well, just like living quarters on farm. So that's really fun. It's I've not looked at this too closely, but there's a lot about the motifs and the materials, the colors, and interspersed are basically charts for the traditional motifs. So that's very fun. Oh yeah, and there's some pictures. Yeah, and this is probably going to focus on Germany. Yeah, there's Munich, Graubünden. Yeah, so not just Germany, but also, well, the German-speaking countries, right? So there's stuff from Graubünden, Tyrol, and so Austria, Switzerland, Italy. Yeah, I'm looking forward to flipping through that. This one was fantastic. I love this one. If you can get your hands on this, do. If you're interested in historical samplers. This one is called Stickmustertücher, which is one of the German names for samplers, by Ulrike Zischka. And these are samplers housed at the Museum für Deutsche Volkskunde in Berlin. This goes through a ton of different historical German samplers. They talk about that in a very fun way. Oh no, that's not this one. Like through the ages, they explain what the samplers were for, how the motifs got there, how the girls and little kids and everyone, like how they were stitched, how the colors were chosen, what the motifs mean, and what the trends were like. Yeah, how it came to be that embroidery was taught in schools, how it got out of fashion. So that was extremely interesting. And I got really interested in that because of like a third rabbit hole I went down. I was watching a Flosstube video on samplers specifically from Saxony, which is a region of Germany, and today it's the federal state known as Sachsen, or in English Saxony. And the specifics, and someone was talking about like specifics of Saxony samplers. I was like, oh, I want to know more about that. Are there other interesting historical sampler traditions from Germany I need to know about? And I tried to figure that out. I could not find that in here, but it was very interesting. There is a section on Saxony samplers, and of course there's Vierlanden samplers or Vierlanden samplers. Vierlanden is a part of northern Germany, not far from where I grew up. And yeah, I was hoping to find more like, oh, these are the typical Bavarian samplers. These are the typical Prussian samplers. These are the typical Lower Saxony samplers. Like they in the books, they talk about, of course, in the closer you get to the coasts, the more ships will be on the samplers and stuff like that. But I was hoping for a bit more, but this was fantastic overview. I might have to figure out where to get this secondhand on eBay or something, 'cause this is fantastic. I have not looked at this one closely. This looks very academic. This is Mustertücher aus einer Dortmunder Schule im Hause Herbrecht. So samplers from a school in Dortmund, from the house of Herbrecht. So this is, they talk about the school and about the motifs, and it is more of a textile science point of view here. This one is a gem. This one is fantastic. It's called Traute seinem Glück allein, which, if you are from Germany, you know the saying, and you will recognize this is a saying embroidered on like towels and wall hangings, and specifically Überhandtücher, which are towels that you hang on the front of your oven, right? They are not for use, they are decorative. And in Germany there is like, I don't know if you have those. Let me know in the comments if you know Überhandtücher, or like if that is a thing also where you are from. It used to be a thing. We don't do that anymore, but there's a ton of embroidery stuff like this. Eigener Herd ist Goldes wert is a very typical saying for like, which means having your own oven is worth its weight in gold, basically, which is true, right? And like in the early 1900s, a lot of this stuff with these sayings and these motifs were stitched for decorating your kitchen, basically. So like, sich Regen bringt Segen. Which the other one, Köchin spare mit dem Feuer, denn die Kohlen sind sehr teuer. So cook, be frugal with your coals because they are expensive. Like this was very interesting. A lot of these things are just so fun and so funny. I sent them to a lot of my friends because they are just absurd. It's very, very fun. Like of course, this is also this is a collection of all of these embroideries, and it has a very funny. Ich bitte um Ruhe. Quiet, please. This is a bit fun. Yeah. They were mostly collected in the region of Frankfurt in the 80s, I think. And I read the foreword, and the author said, yeah, this has like a Frankfurt bias because I bought this stuff. Oh, it was published in 1979 because the author, Eva Stille, bought a lot of these embroideries at flea markets in Frankfurt. And I really specifically like how in the foreword she's like, I bought them all. This collection is not based on like the beauty of the work or the creativity of the sayings. She just bought it all indiscriminately, which I kind of love. Because, like she writes in the book, she was afraid that everyone was just getting rid of these embroideries by their grandparents or parents and was just throwing them out, which is probably what happened, but you can still find these, right? My father has one of these because we do like, my father has several of these for his purposes, like they don't hang in my parents' kitchen. But that was really fun to look through. Then I also got a book on Waldecker embroidery, which was not as interesting, but still interesting, which is like a specific type of pulled thread embroidery that you do in the Waldeck region, which is part of the federal state of Hessen. And there's another Hessian one, because I live in Hessen, so there's more embroidery, more stuff about Hessian culture, which is embroidery in the Hinterland, which is another region of Hessen, of Hesse. Sounds weird, of Hessen. Yeah, so that's not really what I am into. I was more specifically looking for cross stitch, but I'll have to look through them if they have like a few pages on cross stitch. And then this one, I did not know what that word meant, so I got this. This is about embroidery and cross stitch in a part of Pakistan. It was very interesting. It was mostly about this. This is a hat for women and how they embroider them and the motifs they use. So that was really interesting, mostly anthropological, like how the author is very interested in the names of the motifs. So that was interesting. Yeah, but not what I wanted. I was looking for Amaya cross-stitch, Serbian cross-stitch, and like regional German sampler traditions. Yeah, so those were my rabbit holes I have been going down for the last few weeks, actually. Yeah, let's see if I can keep that up. Yeah, let me know if you know anything about that, actually. And that brings us to our the last section. I promise, Easter show and tell. I have been talking for so long, but I want to show that to you before Easter. So, I told you that I bought this book when me and my friend went to the to a Sorbian Easter egg market in a museum in Spreewald. And I knew beforehand that the Sorbs have a very specific way of painting Easter eggs, which looks exquisite. And to be honest, most of the vendors there sold the same kinds of Easter eggs. And I bought some because they're beautiful and they're great souvenirs. So this is one of them. These are real eggs, like chicken eggs. And what you do is you heat up wax, and everything that is white here, they put little dots of wax on here, on the white egg. You take the white egg, you clean it, you put little dots of hot wax here. Then you paint the rest of the egg. They call it batik, but it's not like tie-dyeing like you would tie-dye your shirt. But in German it's the same word. And then you heat it up. You heat the, the first thing you do is, right, you put in the dots of hot wax. Then you submerge the egg in a glass with dye. And then you get the background color. And then you put the strokes in like the accent color. And then you heat up the egg. They did not show us how, so that the wax melts off. And then you get these little white dots. So that's fantastic. I knew beforehand that there was a typical Sorbian thing, but it's very cool to see. And the eggs were very beautiful. I bought 4 of them. I'm showing you 2 with different motifs, and the vendors were showing how they were painting the eggs. Most of them were showing the wax part, because that of course is the most interesting to people, right? We've all seen someone paint an egg, but we've never seen someone put little dots of wax in a motif on an egg. So that was very cool. And then the first egg I bought there was actually not one of these eggs. This also has a bit of wax on them, but it is an embroidered egg. So I had to buy it. So there is a bit of like wax going on here. But this is an embroidered egg. It's the same on both sides. And the lady that was making the eggs and selling them was actually doing some of the egg embroidery at her stand, which was fascinating to see. So she makes these little holes in the motif, and then she is actually embroidering the eggs with like a very long, very fine beading needle. And she has to really think about her stitch path, because she's going in this way and the needle comes out the other way. And then it's like double-sided embroidery basically. And I thought that was fascinating, and I could not leave that market without having bought an embroidered egg. So that's the second show and tell. And then I have some more personal show and tell, because I knew about the Sorbian eggs because my family has been in the Easter egg business for as long as I can remember. Since the early 90s at the latest. So my parents do different kinds of Easter eggs actually, and sell them at markets. And at one of the markets my family goes to every year, there were people selling Sorbian eggs in my memory. Like I had seen that before and must have been there. And so it started with my mom doing tatting. She has been tatting for forever. She learned it from my father's great aunt. She was born in the year 1900 and she learned tatting at school. So my mom saw it someday and she was like, I have to learn that, and she learned it from my father's grandma. And one of the things she does, she of course does doilies and stuff, but she also puts tatting on eggs. This is the one I have. I only have one. We have a flat egg one. No, I'm not going to show you. But this is one of the eggs she does her tatting around. And usually she does not do them tone and tone, but the egg is colored and then she'll put white tatting around that with different motifs. Yeah, it's beautiful. And I wanted to show you that. And these are also, this is a real chicken egg. And my father paints them and he does his own stuff with them. So he paints these eggs in different colors and then he engraves motifs on them and also names. I have also done that. I have sold these eggs, made these eggs. It's great. Those are fantastic souvenirs. And if you have a name that is not spelled the traditional way, or it's not a traditional name, you know the pain to that. There's never a mug at the store with your name on it, right? But you can get an egg with your name on it. And this is one that my parents sent me for this year's Easter, because I can't come, I'm not going home for Easter this year. But so this is the classic motif my father does. It's a little bunny. And then on the other side, he'll write your name in cursive. Lisa. So he sent me a few, wait, where's the other one? No, I'm not going to show you. This has been long enough. So that's how I know about that's how I knew about the Sorbian Easter eggs. See, it's all coming together somehow. No, I just wanted to show you my family's Easter eggs. Yeah, I have a bunch of them hanging outside. They're very robust. You can hang them outside. And so, like I said, my father engraves these names. And like, this is especially popular with people who don't have traditional names, or with names that are spelled in a non-traditional way. And my father is dyslexic, and that means that he will often like make mistakes, spelling mistakes on his eggs. But like, what do you do with a misspelled egg, right? Sometimes we're like lucky, and he'll write like Christian with a K, and then an hour later someone will come like, oh, that is my name, let me buy this egg. But usually he just puts them away. He puts them in a big bucket, and then my mom puts them up at home. Like in my parents' front yard, they have like 50 eggs hanging up at any time around Easter. And they're all misspelled eggs. Because it doesn't matter, right? If you just drive by, it doesn't matter if there's a name written on it or how the name's spelled. So to me, that was always like what we do, but my friends all thought that was hilarious. So that's why I'm telling you that my parents have like dozens of misspelled eggs hanging in their front yard. They look beautiful, right? Those are very cheerful colors. And if you look at it from far away, maybe you can see that there's a bunny on there, but you can't see the name. He doesn't only do bunnies, he does like whatever people demand. Like he'll usually do like little Easter animals, bunnies, sheep, a hedgehog, a rooster. Those are the traditional ones. He does lighthouses, because my parents live by the North Sea coast, so people like that. And he does little hearts. He does like soccer club emblems. The other day, my mom sent me a pic of a Tyrannosaurus that my father did. Apparently, it was the first time someone asked him to do that, and unfortunately, he misspelled the name. So now my parents have a dinosaur egg in their front yard. I'm very fascinated that hasn't happened before, because he's been doing all kinds of engraving on these eggs, like tractors, cars, every animal you can think of, knights in armor, everything. So yeah, so that was my family's Easter show and tell. And this, I don't even want to look at the timestamp. Yeah, I'm going to get this video up as soon as humanly possible, so that you have enough time to watch this extremely long video. If you made it till the end of the video, thank you so much for watching and for hanging out with me. I hope it was fun and not just me rambling on and on. I hope you could get something out of that. I hope it was entertaining. Maybe you learned something. Maybe you get the itch to go to your library as well and check out some embroidery books. Let me know in the comments if you are working on anything I am working on. And please let me know if you would like to start something from one of the Danish cross-stitch calendars with me, or maybe if there's something you would especially like to see. Like I said, I have been recording flip-throughs through the Danish cross-stitch calendars, and I'm going to be uploading them soon at some point, like a video once a week or every 2 weeks. So that was that. I hope you have a lovely day. I hope you stay safe. And happy stitching. Bye bye. See you at the end of April.